in the middle of something important, like a job interview or a first date, we've all had times when our nerves took over and made us sweat and stutter. It feels like our beating hearts and crazy thoughts are in charge of our bodies and we have no control over them. But what if I told you that the Stoics, who were some of the smartest people in history, learned how to stay calm under pressure long before the word anxiety became common? Today we're going to go deep into their world to find lessons that will help us not only survive but also thrive in the face of life's challenges. If you've ever felt like your feelings or reactions were too much for you to handle, stay tuned, these insights will change everything. Today we are going to learn about ancient Stoic methods that can help you stay in charge of your feelings and deeds no matter what life throws at you. If you think what we're about to talk about is useful, please like the video and share it with someone who could use it. Now, let's begin. Habit 1: being aware of your feelings. Think of your feelings as a friend who means well but doesn't always know when to back off. They are not your enemy. Instead, they are important signs that help you deal with risks, enjoy your wins, and connect with others more deeply. But if we don't learn to control them, these feelings can take over our thinking. This is because our brains were wired for a very different way of life than the one we live now. Think of it this way: a feeling is like an alarm bell going off in your head, a loud, urgent sound that doesn't care if you are in the middle of something important. This alarm might go off before your sensible mind has a chance to put on its shoes and get to work. This could make you feel stressed and lost. The good news is that this internal alarm system doesn't have power over you. This is where Stoicism comes in handy. The idea of Stoicism tells us that we shouldn't try to control or hide our emotions, but rather the way we respond to them. Understanding that we may not be able to choose when or how strong a feeling hits us, but we can choose what comes next is important. It's not that you want to lose your feelings. The goal is to learn how to pause and respond instead of reacting. How are we going to do this? It starts with being known. By being aware of what makes us feel certain feelings, we can start to plan for them and understand them better. This doesn't happen overnight. You have to work at it, be patient, and think about yourself. Being aware of these feelings is important because they tell us things, not tell us what to do. This empowers us to take charge of our reactions and guide them in a way that supports our values and goals. By learning this, we not only make our own lives better, but we also lay the groundwork for better relationships, smarter choices, and a fuller life. Habit 2: Stoic views on feelings. The Stoics thought that our feelings come from how we think about the world. For example, you might get angry if you think that being cut off in the middle of a meeting is an insult to you. Stoicism is interesting because it tells us that we can change how we feel by changing how we judge things. It's not about ignoring how you feel, it's about asking yourself what you think about those feelings. Marcus Aurelius was a Roman ruler and a Stoic philosopher. He had to deal with problems like political intrigue, war, and the plague, just to name a few. You have power over your mind, not over outside events, he famously said. Understand this and you will be strong. What he meant was that outside events don't have to control how we feel inside. We can choose how to react, and it's in how we react that we find freedom and growth. Epictetus, another Stoic, said that how we feel about things is more important than what happens to us. His words were, "It's not things that bother us, but how we think about them." This is a big change in how we see things because it gives us back control. Even though we can't change the first feeling that comes up, that gut-level reaction, we can change what comes next. We have the power to stop, think, and choose not to act on a bad feeling that is based on false assumptions. The most freeing thing about the Stoic way of thinking is how it can be used in real life. It's not just an idea, they do it every day. Stoics used methods like premeditation, malo rum, which means thinking about bad things that would happen in the future, to lessen the effects of emotional shocks. By thinking about bad things that might happen, they got ready to face problems with a clear head. It's not about being negative. This exercise is about giving yourself the mental strength to stay steady no matter what. Stoicism's lessons make it very clear that life is not a series of bad things that happen to you, but a chance to get stronger, more resilient, and at peace with yourself because you know you can handle anything that comes your way. By thinking like the Stoics, we not only learn how to deal with life's problems, but also how to look at them in a way that helps us learn more about ourselves and what we can do. Habit 3. Having the freedom to choose. Let's look into the deep Stoic concept of choice now that we know our feelings come from how we judge things, not from the events themselves. It's not about picking what happens to us that's usually out of our hands, but how we react to it. And whether you believe it or not, that decision gives us freedom and power. The Stoics teach us that there is a space between the stimulus and the reaction. It's up to us to decide what to do in this place. This thought gives you a lot of power. It means that we decide how to react to everything that happens in our lives. We get to decide how we feel about something, whether it's a mean word, a loss of money, or a personal one. Life is like a complicated dance. Think about it that way. Things happen very quickly, and our feelings can change just as fast. We can choose how to move with, around, or away from our emotional urges, just like a skilled dancer chooses which steps to take on the dance floor. This doesn't mean ignoring our feelings. It means being aware of them and choosing the best way to act that fits with our morals and long-term goals. To make this work, you need to work on what the Stoics call prosos, which means mindful attention. To be aware in the present moment, we need to be able to recognize our emotional causes as they happen and choose how we will react. We can increase the time between a stimulus and a reaction by practicing mindfulness. This gives us more time to think about what we should do. Stoic thinkers like Seneca were able to stay calm during times of great stress because they had the power to choose. Seneca said that we should think about the worst things that could happen, not to dwell on them, but to make our responses less strong when we face real problems. We become less reactive and more attentive this way. Adopting this Stoic way of thinking also helps us become stronger. It's not resilient to avoid problems, it's resilient to face them with clarity and resolve. When we choose an answer that helps us stay on track with our goals, we make it easier for ourselves to deal with problems in the future. Habit 4. Ways to take action over emotions. As we learn more about Stoic philosophy, it becomes clear that just knowing you have a choice isn't enough. You also need to know how to use that choice wisely. Here are some tried and true Stoic techniques that can help you choose your deeds over your feelings, which can help you turn trouble into victory. One important technique is to pause, which is an easy but powerful thing to do. When a feeling comes up, picture yourself in a heated argument. Do not respond right away. Instead, wait a moment. This break gives your logical mind time to wake up and figure out what's going on. You can judge the mood during this short break. Is it anger? Getting angry? Fear? Recognizing how you feel can make it less stressful, which lets you respond instead of react. Reframing your thoughts about the issue is another Stoic method. To do this cognitive reworking, you have to change your point of view to see the event in a new way. If someone cuts you off in traffic, you might not want to get angry and assume they meant to do it, but instead think about other possibilities. They might be in a hurry because of a danger. Changing how you talk about what happened can change how you feel about it, which can help you stay calm and maybe even understand how the other person feels. Another important part of Stoic practice is making decisions based on your values. Here you choose based on your deepest beliefs instead of short-lived feelings. Does reacting with anger fit with my values? What would the best version of myself do in this situation? By making sure that your actions fit with your values, you make sure that they help you become the person you want to be, not just a temporary emotional state. Acceptance of feelings is also very important. Accepting that you're feeling a certain way without judging it or reacting right away doesn't mean giving up on feeling bad. Accepting your feelings helps you understand them better and take charge of them. You should notice the clouds as they move across the sky, but don't let the rain get you down. Each of these techniques isn't just about how to deal with a certain emotional situation, they're all about making your life so that you always make choices based on logic and reason. If you do these techniques often enough, they can become habits that change the way you deal with your feelings and the world around you. As you make these habits a part of your everyday life, you'll notice that not only do your emotions become more stable, but so does your overall health and happiness. This will help you live more in line with your Stoic beliefs. Habit 5. Why picking actions over emotions is a good thing. People can tell when we are mentally stable because we choose our actions carefully and make sure they are based on sound reasoning instead of passing feelings. This steadiness makes us more dependable and trustworthy with other people. This can strengthen relationships because our loved ones see us as strong people who can help them feel better instead of responding quickly to stressful situations. It means that when there is disagreement or stress, we shouldn't make things worse with our emotions. Instead, we should work to solve the problem, which makes our connections stronger. Being able to stay cool and collected under pressure is very useful in the workplace. Emotions can run high at work, but what makes leaders stand out is their ability to stay calm. That's not what this is about. It's about controlling your reactions in a thoughtful and helpful way. In this state, people usually make decisions that are more well thought out and planned. This leads to better results and shows a level of leadership that is admired and often copied. Additionally, picking deeds over feelings makes you mentally and emotionally tough. The Stoics think that the hardest times in our lives are times when we can grow. By dealing with problems in a cool and collected way, we train our bodies to handle stress better in the future. Being resilient can make our general health and happiness much better by lowering our anxiety and depression and making us happier with our lives. Basically, we're not just responding to the problems we face in life, we're also actively making our way through them. Habit 6. Getting through hard times. It's not easy to control your feelings and always choose to act logically instead of reacting on impulse. It's a huge task that needs commitment, patience, and strength. Stoicism teaches us that on this trip, we will face many problems that will test our strength and our ability to use philosophical ideas in real life. The strength and speed of our emotional responses is one of the first problems many of us face. The emotions are strong and can be too much for even the most dedicated Stoics. They can surge quickly and out of the blue because of feelings and habits that have been ingrained for a long time. The best way to deal with this problem is not to push these feelings down, but to be aware of them without letting them control our actions. To do this, you need to be very self-aware and be able to stop and think in the middle of a stressful situation. This is a skill that you can develop through regular practice and being mindful. Another big problem is being consistent when using Stoic practices. It's one thing to stay calm and collected in a controlled setting. It's quite another to do so when you're under a lot of stress, going through hard times, or an emergency. Stoic practice of premeditation malarum, which means picturing and getting aroused to possible problems, can be very helpful. This activity makes our minds stronger by getting us used to problems before they happen. This makes it easier to deal with shock and discomfort when problems do happen. There is also the problem of doubt, which can come from both inside and outside the organization. On the inside, you might not be sure that Stoic ideas can really help you deal with problems in the real world. Peers or social norms may not see or understand how important it is to control your emotions, thinking it's unnecessary or too philosophical. To get past this skepticism, you need to show that Stoic practices are useful in real life, both with words and deeds. But when we show the calm, logical, and strong qualities that Stoicism encourages, we not only see how well these practices work for ourselves, but also for others. Finally, putting Stoic ideas into practice in everyday life can be hard. Today's world moves quickly and places a lot of value on quick responses and emotional displays. Setting aside time every day for thought, like writing in a journal or meditating, can help us stay true to Stoic ideas. This daily commitment turns ideas that aren't concrete into acts that we can see and feel. This makes Stoicism a part of our everyday lives. To get through these problems, you need to be strongly dedicated to improving yourself and know a lot about Stoic thought. It's about accepting the process and knowing that every problem is a chance to use and improve our Stoic values. By sticking to these rules, we not only get through the tough times, but we also get stronger and smarter with each step forward. Habit 7. How it works in real life. Think about a common situation at work. You've worked hard on a project, but during the talk a coworker cuts you off with criticism that doesn't seem fair. At first, you might want to aggressively protect your work, letting irritation or anger control your reaction. Stoic ideas say that you could take a moment to pause and recognize your first emotional reaction without acting on it. You might not want to fight back, so you could respond carefully and ask for specific feedback that could help you make the project better. This strategy will not only help you keep professional relationships, but it will also help your image as someone who stays calm and listens to others, even when they are upset. Now think about a personal situation, like a fight with a family member or partner. When you're with people you know, your feelings can quickly get out of hand, turning small mistakes into big fights. A Stoic method would be to be aware of what makes you feel bad as it happens, and choose to react with understanding instead of anger. This could mean taking the time to listen to what the other person has to say without responding or trying to solve the problem right away. This kind of reaction encourages talking and understanding, which helps solve problems in a way that makes relationships stronger instead of weaker. In a different area of personal growth, think about the task of self-discipline, like sticking to a diet or a fitness plan. Simple to give in to short-term urges like skipping a workout because you're tired or eating a bad snack. Stoicism tells us to think about our values and long-term goals instead of our short-term comforts. Stoic discipline can help you remember why you make the decisions you do, which will strengthen your resolve to act in line with your better good instead of your short-term wants. Stoicism can also have a big effect on our mental health and general toughness. Focusing on what we can control, our responses, our beliefs, and our actions becomes very helpful when we are in a bad situation or sad, like when we lose a loved one or our finances go down. It's normal to feel sad or stressed, but Stoicism helps us deal with these feelings without letting them take over. We learn to accept that our responses are normal and part of being human, but not to let them shape what we do or who we are. In all of these situations, using Stoicism in real life doesn't mean hiding your feelings or acting like they don't exist. They are not in charge, you choose not to be controlled by them. This way of thinking doesn't just help in one-off situations, it helps people live meaningful, honest, and wise lives. Habit 8. Backing up with science. In Stoicism, one of the most important things to do is to control your emotions, which is a lot like what counselors do today. It's not about hiding our feelings, it's about controlling how we show them and react to them. Researchers who study how to control feelings have found that people who can do this well tend to have better mental health, be happier with their lives, and have stronger relationships. So the results of this study support the Stoic view that controlling our responses can greatly improve our health. Neuroscience can also help us understand why Stoic methods work. The amygdala and other, more primitive parts of the brain handle our emotions. The prefrontal cortex, which is in charge of higher-order thinking, is very important for controlling these reactions. If we use Stoic methods like cognitive reframing or mindfulness, our prefrontal cortex learns to take charge when we're feeling emotional, Over time, this training can make our brains stronger, which can make it easier to choose thoughtful answers over automatic ones, even when we're under a lot of stress. Neuroplasticity, the idea the brain can change how it works by making new nerve connections over time, is another idea that supports Stoic practices. When we use Stoic methods, the neural pathways that help us behave in this way get stronger. The more we practice Stoic ideas, the stronger our emotional control muscles get, just like when you work out your muscles. Mindfulness and thought are important parts of Stoicism, and research has shown that practicing them regularly can change parts of the brain that are linked to awareness, empathy, and lowering stress. The behavioral science also backs up the Stoic focus on habit formation, in addition to the psychological and neurological benefits. Habits are very important to our daily lives because they determine how we act and what happens. Stoicism teaches that the best way to form good habits is to do them over and over again. This fits with what behavioral scientists have found about how habits can help people change their behavior in a way that lasts and which is important for long-term personal growth and happiness. Understanding the scientific ideas behind Stoic practices helps us understand not only the philosophical but also the real value of Stoicism in the modern world. It gives you a way to not only deal with life's problems, but also thrive in them. There is more and more science proof that these ancient techniques really do make you stronger, happier, and more satisfied with your life. Habit 9. Doing things every day to make it happen. Being aware every day is one of the best things you can do for yourself. This means setting aside time every day to be in the present moment without judging it. You can start by just thinking about your feelings and thoughts for a few minutes every morning or evening. This technique helps us clear our minds of reactionary thoughts, so we can handle life's challenges without acting on impulse. Mindfulness can be developed through meditation, but it can also be used during the day while you eat, walk, or even talk to someone. Writing in a journal is another strong tool that Stoics use to help them be fully present and attentive. So writing in a book every day can help you think about what you did and what you thought about during the day. It gives you a chance to think about what went well and what could be done better. This thought isn't about judging yourself, it's about getting better. You should write about times when you followed Stoic ideas successfully and times when you didn't. As time goes on, trends will begin to show up and places where you might need to put in more work. A lot of sports use visualization as a technique, but it can also be useful for Stoics. Every morning, take a moment to picture how you will handle the problems of the day with calm and dignity. Imagine being able to handle a tough situation at work with calmness or settle a disagreement at home with kindness and common sense. By going over these situations in your mind, you get ready to act in a way that is consistent with your values when they happen. This reinforces the behaviors you want to see more of. Setting clear goals for the day is another thing you can do every day. What Stoic traits do you want to show today? Pick a theme for the day like courage, justice, moderation, or knowledge, and keep it in mind throughout the day. Setting goals like this can help you make choices and deal with people in a way that is in line with your Stoic values. Lastly, it's very important to show thanks. The Stoics thought that if we want to be happy, we should be thankful for what we have and not be sad about what we don't have. Every night before bed, think of 3 things you're thankful for. This could be something as easy as a warm meal, a chat with a friend, or making progress at work. Focusing on what's going right instead of what's going wrong is one of the benefits of this practice. It also makes you feel happy and healthy in general. These practices aren't just workouts, they're life-changing processes that make people stronger, more thoughtful, and more balanced when they're used every day. They help us connect the high goals of Stoicism to the real world, so we can live more fully and respond more thoughtfully to whatever life throws at us. Habit 10. Do these 10 Stoic habits every day. Mindfulness training is the first step toward developing a habit in which you consciously focus on the present moment. This could be done through meditation. To start, set aside just 5 minutes every morning to sit in silence, focus on your breath, and watch your ideas without getting attached to them. This could get longer over time, up to 20 minutes or more. This practice makes it easier to stay in the present moment during daily tasks and makes you less reactive to worries from the outside world. Next is the emotional log, which means writing down every day your strong emotions, the events that made you feel those emotions, and how you chose to react. By writing down these events, you learn more about your mental patterns and triggers, which helps you come up with better ways to deal with them. Then there's the practice of putting yourself in situations that make you feel bad on purpose. This could mean doing something like taking a cold shower, going without food, or working out hard. The goal is to make you stronger and more resilient, showing you that you can handle things and stay calm even when they are hard. This habit teaches you to act even when you don't want to, which fits with the Stoic idea that outside events shouldn't upset our inner peace. Visualization is also very important. Every day, take a few minutes to picture yourself facing and getting through the problems you face every day while staying calm and following your Stoic principles. This thought practice gets your mind ready to act in the way you imagined when real problems come up, which reinforces the behaviors you want to see more of. Setting a daily purpose or catalyst, one big action that fits with your values and gets you closer to your goals, is an important part of the Stoic way of life. One easy way to do this could be to choose to be extra patient or giving with your time that day. By finding this trigger and acting on it, you set off a chain reaction of good things that happen all day. Another important habit is making small choices all the time. Pay attention to the little decisions you make throughout the day, like what you eat and how you answer an email. These decisions may not seem important at first, but they have a big impact on who we are and where we end up going. By consciously choosing these options, you improve your ability to make choices, which helps you make sure that your actions always match your values and goals. You can change your mind from what went wrong to what went right by ending your day with a gratitude slam. Every day, forcefully say 3 things you're thankful for. This practice isn't just about making you feel good, it's also about teaching your mind to see and value the good things in life, which will help you be happier and stronger in general. A feedback loop with a trusted friend or mentor once a week about your actions and emotions can help you grow by giving you an outside view. Being humble and honest is important for this practice because it helps you see blind spots in your character that you might miss otherwise. When you practice the emotion-action split, you stop to think about how you're feeling before you choose what to do. Every time you feel a strong emotion, take a moment to name it, and then choose a logical reaction instead of acting on it. This habit helps break the natural link between how you feel and how you act, so you can act with more thought and effectiveness. Lastly, reading a philosophy work every day, like a page from Marcus Aurelius' Meditations or Epictetus in Chiridion, can give you daily ideas and help you stick to Stoic principles. You can use these books to feed your mind and strengthen your resolve to live by Stoic virtues. According to Stoic advice, these 10 habits are not just things you do, they are also ways to change your life. As you make these habits a part of your daily life, you'll notice that they not only help you deal with problems better, but they also make your life more peaceful, meaningful, and satisfying. Every day is a new chance to work on these habits, and each one is a step toward becoming a master of living well. Glad you could join us today on Wisdom World. Remember that each day is a chance to improve your mind and live a strong, meaningful life. Make sure to watch one of the videos we offer if you want to keep learning about Stoicism and improve your practice. We're glad you're a part of our group and that we can learn from the Stoics together.